Well, if you don't show up because you're worried about how people are going to think about you, then you're doing a huge disservice to that person or people that are waiting for your brilliance and your motivation.
Well, hey, welcome back to the Amanda Kaufman Show. And in this episode, we're going to be talking to Christine Blosdale, known as the Expert Authority Coach. She's a 5-time #1 best-selling author, an award-winning radio personality, and host of the Expert Authority Coach podcast. With more than 25 years in personal branding, magnetic marketing, and multimedia, she's helped entrepreneurs, coaches, and authors and thought leaders step into their brilliance and become the go-to authority in their niche. A former content creator for giants like America Online and Microsoft, Christine brings unmatched media savvy and a coaching style that's simple, fun, and seriously effective. She's passionate about helping business owners rise, shine, and get seen, transforming them from overlooked to in demand through authentic visibility and confident self-promotion. Christine, welcome to the show.
Hi, Amanda. Thank you so much. I've been really looking forward to being with you. This is going to be awesome.
This is. Okay, expert authority positioning. You know, I've been helping coaches for years, and, you know, my person that I typically end up working with, so listener, I hope this is you, they are so brilliant, but their paycheck doesn't match their skill set. You know, like they have incredible skills. Maybe they're certified as a coach. Maybe they have a lot of really amazing life experience. Maybe they've even got, you know, multiple degrees. You know, I've met lots of people that have spent literal hundreds of thousands of dollars on what they know, but their business doesn't bring them the business that really kind of matches that level of excellence. So, Christine, when you encounter somebody like that, like, what is one of the first things that you like to talk about with them?
Well, the first thing is usually the messaging is not communicating with their target audience, right? They're like, well, I built a website and nobody's, coming there, or I posted on social media and how come I'm not getting clients, or I've upskilled and I've learned this trade, I've got this certification. So there's all this frustration that's happening. And we are a rather quick society. We do like to see results right away. And what I say, it's not even so much, like you were saying, all that skill set, all that education is behind them, but they're not communicating their message to their target audience. Another huge issue is, I've seen this with coaches especially, is that some coaches, some of us will be trying to sell something that our target audience doesn't need or want, right? So I give the example of the stapler. That's my favorite thing is that, hi, I'm Christine, I'm a coach, and I've got this stapler, and it is the most amazing stapler. I want you to have this stapler, and I'm going to just talk about the stapler all the time. And as a matter of fact, in the month of December, it's 50% off. 50% off my stapler. Don't you want my stapler? And what's happening is your target audience, your target clientele are saying, I don't want a stapler or need a stapler. I actually just want a sandwich.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
But we're so invested in this stapler because we've studied it. We've got a program about it. We wrote a book about it, and we really want to get the stapler sold. But there's the disconnection because your audience, your clients or potential clients don't need that. And I was guilty of that for a very long time, pushing one thing, during COVID, I was training people, showing people how to create their own podcast for their brand, because I'm all about branding and helping businesses with their brand. So I was really pushing that, and that was bread and butter, and that was really great during COVID. But then out of COVID, there's this explosion of women entrepreneurs starting their own businesses, becoming coaches, those things, and I was still trying to push the podcast stapler. And what I found is that my audience, that's not what they needed. They needed a all holistic coach to help them with their messaging, their website. My goodness, their social media, their branding. They had a book within them, but they didn't have anybody to guide them in how to publish that book, right? So I needed to be all those different things to people. And so that's when I also changed my brand and said, this is what I can offer my clients. And instead of just the stapler, I've given them a smorgasbord of food that they can eat. And that's been very successful for me. That's the biggest problem that I see with coaches.
There's a beautiful business lesson in that as well, dear listener, is like sometimes the answer is to go up in detail. So what Christine did was she was like, I'm focused on this one very niche specific offering. I'm going to go upstream and I'm going to become the strategist that is helping somebody, across all of these different things. And the other choice is to like go downstream. So like particular types of podcasts or particular sizes of podcasts or things like that. And, the biggest thing was she figured out where it didn't work and she moved. And I think one of the things I notice when I'm working on messaging with coaches, I'm so glad you said that, because I would say the same thing. It's always the message. And I love your stapler example. What I see happen is that, especially coaches, we tend to be very emotionally sensitive people. And sometimes that feeling of like, oh, you don't want my stapler, you don't want me.
Bingo.
It brings
Bingo,
up like
bungo.
all
Yes.
this drama of the traumas of times when we were rejected or we were, not taken care of the way we wanted to. And like, one of the biggest things I've had to learn, and I'm curious how you lead people through this, is just like, they just don't want the stapler, or they don't want the stapler without the other stuff, right? Like there's a need that if you really listen to the need, you can match and package what you're doing to meet that need. It's not that you, the person, are not worthy, or you, the person, don't deserve success. It's simply, like you said, it's the rejection of that particular opportunity. It's not that you can't come up with another one. So how do you help people move through kind of that valley of despair of like, I had such a brilliant idea, I worked on it for years, what do you mean nobody wants it?
Well, the other thing the other mistake that a lot of coaches do is sort of that idea of fitting the square peg in the round hole, right? And so what we do is we have a program, or we have a formula, and we're trying to put that on everybody. And what I love about being a coach is that I get to work with extremely talented but very different human beings. We're all different. We all have different skill sets. We all have different learning styles. Some are more visual, some are more auditory, some have to actually get their hands in it, right? But everybody is so different. So I think, like, one of the ways that you can be very successful is to take the approach that each client, each person who even is a potential client who comes in through your doors, maybe through a discovery call or a strategy session, that they're very unique. And so you're going to piece together a program or a coaching plan that's just for them. Number one, you're going to be more successful. Number two, you're going to make them feel like a king or a queen of the world because they're having something that's custom for them. And it'll be much easier going down that road. I have some clients that there's no way would I suggest that they become a podcast host. That's not their personality. And I know their schedule. And I know the work that's involved in creating a podcast and marketing a podcast. So I don't even mention it to them. But I do say, for those people who are not a podcast host ready personality, but they've written a book, or they're a speaker, or they're a coach themselves, I will say you want to be a guest on podcasts, because being a guest on podcasts is incredible. You reach an audience you could never reach. It helps you craft your message. Every single time you come on a show, you get a little bit better, and you get very comfortable saying what it is that you do. So for certain clients, I recommend be a podcast guest, and then I help train them to be, because you don't just show up and go, it's magic. You need to actually have a strategy as well. So it's customizing that experience for your client, I think, is going to be the most successful route.
I think that's a really good point. What came through for me as you were talking about that is just the overall idea that for you to lead a conversation with expert positioning and authority, Prerequisite skill, I would say, is to be able to contribute as an expert authority in a conversation. And a lot of people, like, they're not even participating in the conversation, much less contributing to it, much less leading it, right? Like, what does it really mean to be an expert authority? Especially as we're heading into 2026. What do you think is going to be super important for people to focus on this year?
Well, authenticity is going to be huge. We see
Yeah.
all around us the world. We're becoming more savvy. We can smell poop. We can see it. We know it. We're like, you're a charlatan. You're fake. The days of Kardashianism, perfection. We see it crumbling in politics. We see it crumbling in the music industry, in Hollywood, and we're craving real, authentic people. And so that means if you've got a quirky personality, babe, show it. If you're someone who's quite nerdy and you're just all about the facts, ma'am, then embrace that. But it is about your brand. If you're a coach, not even in order to stand out, but to really fully become who you really can be and want to be, you have to also realize that you're the brand. You are the brand. All the skills and all the things that you can teach people or show people or help people with, those are your tools. But you are the brand. So with Amanda Kaufman comes with a signature, like an energy imprint, right? She's got a certain energy. She's got a certain style. And you can always expect that from her. So that's going to help you is if you can make yourself, your business, be more branded. And then you can actually connect with people. They'll remember you.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I think
I can remember you, Amanda, right away.
What's that?
I'll remember you right away, and you have a special place in my world because of who you are and what you've done.
That's so good. I mean, like, I love Layla Hermosi's definition of branding because it was really the first one that I was like, yeah, I get it. Okay, I understand. Which is, she says it's associations. So it's like if people remember you based on what they associate you with, and so so today. I decided that I was going to keep rocking my Grumpy Cat Null shirt because I think, first of all, I love this shirt. It makes me really happy. But it's also like a shirt like this reflects that I enjoy humor. I enjoy,
Yes.
casual, like a printed t-shirt. There's a lot of coaches who would never be caught dead wearing a printed t-shirt because they want their associations that they're going for is like maybe like corporate dress or things like that. And all of these things, like I didn't think of these as specific branding choices, I suppose. I was kind of anti-branding for a long time simply because I didn't know what it was. But I think the thing about branding is it's so pervasive. It's like association. So when people think of me, they often are like, she's very reliable, she's very on time, she's a bit nerdy, she likes to laugh, she's got good energy. But like all of those things are things that people have reflected back at me over the years. And then I just decided to kind of like lean into them more, right? Just lean into them more. So like when you're working with somebody, how do you like to take them through that authenticity thing? Because when I talk to people about it, sometimes the first thing that comes up is they go, well, I won't be successful like that. Like if I'm like that, whatever they're judging themselves for being, then I won't be successful like that. So it just sort of feels like you have to be so intentional, and over curated and well designed. Can you speak to that a little bit about like what is actually required to be successful here?
Well, one of the toughest things that we as coaches have to deal with are people who think in a negative space, right? A lot of times that has a bit of imposter syndrome. They might have that in them. Somebody when they were 5 years old said, you're stupid, or who are you, or you're fat, or whatever, and that sat with them in their subconscious mind. Even they could have all the diplomas and degrees and successes along the way, but even being 50, 60 years old, those little subconscious things are still rolling around in your head. Mm-hmm. And so when you're asked to stretch, when you're asked to do something that you're not used to, when you've never done it, when it's a little uncomfortable, it's a scary thing. Somebody asked me to speak at the local business chamber. I can't do that. Who am I? All these things, all those doubts come in, right? And that is one of the core things that I think we as coaches have to pay attention to with our clients, because it will not succeed if they have that belief system, right? That they're less than, I'm stupid, I'm too old to do this, right? All those things.
I hear that one all the
Or
time. I'm too old. I'm not techie enough. I'm not cool enough in
yes,
some way.
yes. And it's like, stop it. One way to help your clients get over that is to say, and again, I know that branding is about you, but it's not about you. It's about the clients. It's about the people that you say you want to help. So if I have a client who's heavy in imposter syndrome, or I won't, all those things, I'll say, you know what? It's not about you, Susie. It's about the people that you say you want to help. You want to become a fitness coach, right? You say you want to become a fitness coach because you want to help people live longer lives and be healthier and happier. Well, if you don't show up because you're worried about how people are going to think about you, then you're doing a huge disservice to that person or people that are waiting for your brilliance and your motivation, right? So when you shift it from the person and how they look or how they're going to be perceived to the people that they actually say that they want to help, it does make a difference. There's a shift, right?
Yes.
So you just got to keep them on that path.
The energy coach in me also wants to shout out that whole, obsession with self. The imposter syndrome is like really an obsession with like your reaction, your emotions, how you're being impacted, right? And one of the things that I've noticed makes the biggest difference in this shift is actually recognizing, where are you judging other people for those things? So where are you judging other people for being too stupid? Where are you judging other people for not being physically perfect? Where are you judging other people for their money? Where are you judging everybody else? Because the reflection, self-loathing is really just a reflection of what your perceptions are about those things. So really examine, like, how are you projecting those things onto other people? Just because you don't say it doesn't mean that you're not thinking it. And if you're thinking it about yourself, there's a very good chance that you're also thinking about that when you're interacting with other people. And that's a powerful shift, because when I point that out to people, they go, whoa, like, a conscious version of me would never think those things about another person. And it actually makes it more absurd to think those things about yourself as well. Yeah.
Yes.
That's so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great little exercise to bring people to, I think.
Yeah.
Because we're not, and those things are what people don't realize is that those thoughts are very powerful. The words that you say are even more powerful, and not to get too woo-woo, but I can get woo-woo with you. When you say, I am, it's a very powerful statement to the universe. And whatever you say after that is extremely important. So if you say, I am stupid, I am too old, then you're saying to the universe, you want more of that experience. And I really like to tell people, I say, if you're really good at what you do and you've been doing it and you feel any bit of confidence, state it. I am damn good at what I do.
Yeah, I'm proud of this. Yeah.
You and I both can go anywhere in the world and we can talk to somebody or a crowd of people and say, you know what? There's no ego in this at all, but I am damn good at what I do.
That's it. Yeah, that's the secret sauce. Christine, how can people follow you?
Easy peasy. They can go to my website, expertauthoritycoach.com. It's right there. It's got all the stuff that I do, links to my books, links to the podcast. I do 3 podcasts, although I think 1 or 2 of them are like kind of missing my parenting. But yes, all that information is at expertauthoritycoach.com.
That's a great domain. And dear listener, we'll make sure to have that available for you in the show notes below. Christine, thank you so much for being here.
Yes. And is it okay to give your wonderful listeners a present, a gift?
Absolutely. Let's do it. We love presents around here.
So my latest book, which thankfully was a bestseller as well, is The Social Media and Branding Survival Guide. Digital marketing, so irresistible, even your ex will want to follow you. It's written in a very humorous way, but it's all my great tips and strategies on social media and branding. And I will give you, Amanda, the link that they can get that for absolutely free.
Absolutely. That's amazing, Christine. And great title. Yes. That was hilarious. It's so good.
It
So
gives you a
good. Tells you
hint
a little bit
into
about
inside,
her
right?
brand, I think.
Yes, yeah.
So good. Well, dear listener, if this was awesome and empowering for you as it was for me, make sure you grab the link to the episode and share it with 3 of your friends. Just text it to them, email it to them, send it in a handwritten letter, however you want to share the link. And if you haven't hit subscribe, make sure you do that so you never miss another episode. And finally, if you're loving our show, one of the ways that we really feel that love from you is through an honest review. So just taking 2 minutes to share wherever you happen to be listening to this, what your thoughts are and whether you'd recommend this helps a lot when new listeners are stopping by and considering it. All right. Thank you so much for being here. And until the next time you do what matters.